Hello, welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. I don't know what I did. I did this before. I accidentally, instead of starting, I ended. uh, that's a good thing about being over 60. You can always blame it on your age. You can blame everything on your age. Once you're over 60, it's like free for all, man. It's like, dude, I'm old. What are you gonna do? So, no. No, I rebuke that, but anyway. Yes, but you know what, you guys, I want to do something. Let's go over to Hamza's channel, see if he'll let me on. Hamza, I've been on his channel. Hamza let me, I was on his channel once. Let me see if I could go on Hamza's channel here. Hamza's Den. I think he's live right now. Let's see if we can get it. He's talking about Ramadan.
I basically crush Christians and break their hearts and expose atheists for the irrational people they are. And of course, I invite to Islam to the right people.
So could you give some examples of like the topics you crush for Christians?
The reliability of Paul.
Things like Trinity and...
Well, kind of. The reliability of Paul, the divinity of Jesus, the reliability of the Gospels, the need for atonement. There's so many ways to smash a Christian.
Okay, fair
enough. But
I
don't do it in a... I don't do it... I used to do it in a smashing way. But what I do now, I do it in a Socratic method. You know what the Socratic method is?
Go on.
So Socratic method. So Socrates was a philosopher, the first philosopher. And what he would do, he would go around asking people why they believe what they do. Okay. So when I speak to Christians, I don't tell them they're wrong for trusting Paul. I would say, why do you trust Paul? Or the Gospels are not reliable. It would be more, why do you believe the Gospels are reliable? So I don't demolish what they have. I get them to explain themselves.
Their thinking is what you're saying, basically.
Yeah, get them to explain themselves. And most Christians don't know why they do believe what they do, and this is a kind of awakening for them. And then, of course, most of my questions are rhetorical. I know the responses. I know roughly what they're going to say anyway, and I know what their premises are going to be. And there's going to come a point where it's going to become an assumed position that they can't qualify.
Fair enough. So is it like knowledgeable Christians you speak to, or just Christians by name?
Knowledgeable Christians avoid me.
Oh, okay, fair.
Well, some do. God Logic's had a dig. I go Speaker's Corner and whatever. The problem is with Christians, right? Knowledgeable Christians, they want to talk about Islam. They don't want to talk about Christianity. So I've now taken a position where I don't give dawah to Christians because I don't see the point. And I don't give dawah to atheists because I don't see the point. What I do is, if I speak to a Christian, I get them to justify their position. Yep. Because if you speak to a Christian about Islam, let's just say you've got a Christian friend and you want to introduce them to it.
He just says what I do. So I wrote here do. Anyway, it's been a long time. I was invited onto his channel once. I didn't go. Don't know why they believe what they believe. Hamza, so smart. I'm jealous. Yeah, Hamza's he's a joke. I was on his channel one time and talking about how Muhammad, he asked me, have you read the Quran? I said, as much as I could stomach. And then he goes, what you could stomach? And they ended up kicking me out. But I'll keep him running here. See, I don't know if I have a chance, if he will call me to join him. But anyway, let me tell you what I did today. I went out witnessing. I'll show you a little bit of the video of me going witnessing. And it was actually a very good. It was one of the reasons I want to go out is because it's Ramadan, and there's what's called it's called Night of Power. I'm not sure when Night of Power is going to be. Let me see if they know. Let me ask Grok. When will the Night of Power be? This is the Night of Power is this little fantasy night that Muslims believe in, and it's kind of like a night of wishes. That they believe they go to the mosque, and if they stay up all night and pray all night, that at some point during the night, maybe at 3:27 or something like that, anything you ask for, you can get. It's kind of like a wish. Wishes, and anyway, that's when that happens. Muslims go and spend all night in the mosque, and so anyway, I'm not sure when that is. I should look it up, but I went because I wanted to. To witness, and I did get to speak to several people. It was very good. But at first, I want to show you these kids. They were out and they wanted to play a little bit of their rock and roll. I told them I would show it on my live stream. So I told them, you're not going to get rich from this, But anyway, here's these kids. These guys. Jesus is the Son of God. It's a little hard to hear them. The kid, I don't know exactly what they're saying. I think it's some kind of metal song or something. I don't know even what's called a grunge or something. I don't know. I don't even know if grunge is still a thing, but the kid was playing chords that I know, so it's probably grungy. So anyway, I told him I would play it. So there you have it. So anyway, that's by the mosque, and I gave him a Bible and told him to pray and to seek the Lord. Then I had a couple more. Come, says the Son of God. This guy gave me a tract about the misconceptions about Islam. That's this little kid. He's like 4 years old. He came up to me, this little kid, and he gave me this tract. He gave me this right here. Apparently his friend gave it to him to give to me. He's 4 years old. I said to him, "Come back," and he goes, "Allah." So anyway, we're going to look at this tract here: misconceptions about Islam. So, but there was one incident that happened that was cool. I got to pray with this kid.
Jesus Muslim. Yeah? Jesus Muslim.
Jesus, كلمة الله والروح منه. Quran no say he's Muslim. Quran say he is the word of Allah. هو كلمة الله والروح منه. You know Arabic?
I know English.
I know Arabic.
Yeah, Arabic.
I know Arabic. Arabic say Isa ibn Maryam Rasulullah wa kalimatahu alqaha Maryam. This guy was Russian.
He is the word of God.
He is the word of Allah. He brought me
word of Allah means he is
Spanish.
God.
He brought me a Spanish tract about Dios. So there's a guy whose car broke down. I helped him push it. Then this kid came up. Let me show you this.
This is honoring Christ and showing, reminding people that he's there.
And that he died on the cross, and that he rose again after 3 days. And this kid. What do you think it means? I actually got to pray with this kid to receive the Lord. This kid who was there, his grandmother, he's Catholic. but he said that he's had no interest in religion. That's what he said, and no interest in the Lord or anything like that. But then all of a sudden, when his grandmother started dying, he started praying for her. And he says during that, he really discovered the peace of God and stuff. And he had lots of questions, and he had just started studying the Bible, and he just can't put it down and everything. So I told him how to be born again. I told him, this is what you must do. And he prayed with me. Yeah. So he did pray with me to receive the Lord. So praise God. So that was like a divine appointment there.
And one sinner comes back to God.
So that was really awesome. I got his phone number, and he's got mine. Show you a couple other things.
We believe he's alive.
You
We
believe?
don't believe he's alive.
I believe.
He's alive at God.
Yeah, I believe he's alive too.
Yes.
Do you speak?
I asked him, do you believe Jesus died? He said, we believe he's alive. And I said, well, I believe he's alive.
Arabic?
Absolutely.
تحكي عربي يعني.
يحكي عربي طبعا.
This guy's from Egypt.
هل القرآن بتقول إنه المسيح مات؟ لا.
I asked him, does the Quran say Jesus died? And I started showing him where it says he did.
هو بيكلم ربنا
أها.
قال له ولما توفيتني فأنت الشهيد
فيتني.
علي.
شو معناته؟
He quoted this. He actually quoted one of the verses that I used. لما توفيتني كنت أنت رقيب عليهم, which means literally when you made me to die, you became a watcher over them. That's 5:117. He actually quoted it.
توفيتني.
دي بقى حاجة يعلمها بينه وبين الله لأن الله بيقول لنا
القرآن كلام
وما
الله.
صلبوه.
He says, oh, the meaning of words is something that only belongs to Allah. And I said, no, the Quran is supposed to be a clear book.
وما قتلوه ولكن شبه لهم.
شو بتقول قبل هذه الآية؟
Okay, let me tell you something.
He kept on changing subject. This guy was like a belly dancer. You know, to quote Rob Christian, this guy was like a belly dancer. Soon as we just barely land on a topic, he would change it, you know? And I think it's because he's scared.
ليش ما بتخليني؟ ليش ما بترد على
لا
سؤالي؟
أرد على سؤالك، أنت رد على سؤالي الأول.
بس أنا قلت لك
أنت لو
أنا
عندك
سألت
ابن، أنت لو
أول.
عندك ابن،
صح.
أنت لو عندك ابن،
نعم.
أنت كبشر عندك
نعم.
ابن،
صح.
هتخليه يتقتل وأنت واقف تتفرج عليه؟
أنا بقدر.
Okay, he asked me, he had a question. He says, if you had a son, would you let a bunch of evil people just kill him if you had the power to do something about it? And I said, I couldn't, but God can, and he did.
طب اللي بيقدر بقى يخليه يتقتل ويتفرج عليه.
مكتوب عندنا.
ماليش دعوة بالمكتوب.
أوكي.
أنا بكلمك حاجة لينا نفهمها بالعقل.
بس إحنا صغار، إحنا زي النبي.
You know, I told him, listen, we're tiny. We're like little insects. You can't really compare us to God. And for Muslims, they absolutely agree with that because nothing compares to, you know, God with them. And so I said, you can't really compare us to God 100% because we're fallen and we're so small and he's the infinite God, you know.
ما بتقدر تقارننا بالله، صح؟ صح؟ هو إحنا زي النمل
طب
صغار.
خليني أقول لك حاجة واحدة.
أها.
إزاي خلق دي؟
أنت
إزاي خلقه ألقاها؟
Then another guy came up and he started
I
trying
know
to
the
change
Arabic.
the topic.
Look, wait.
Uh-huh. Can we go over there just because?
Then another guy came up from
Yeah,
Afghanistan.
because there's too much noise here.
And we had a pretty good discussion, but at the end he fell back on the same three excuses that Muslims always use. But anyway, it was a good night. So yeah. But anyway, what I thought I would do is to let's go look at our Ramadan friend. Let's see if he wants to talk to me. I don't know.
You type thing. But they don't realize that, well, when they say, well, what do you mean? I say, well, look, one of them's corrupted. Either the King James Bible is corrupted, or the later revised Bibles are corrupted. One of them is, because corruption means when you change a text, either adding to or removing from it something which the original author hasn't sanctioned or isn't aware of. This is forgery. This is corruption. You've corrupted that text now. And the problem is when you have the KJV Bible, it contains verses that are not found in the NIV Bible. So either the KJV Bible have added verses or the NIV Bible has removed verses. Either way, one of them's corrupted. Yeah, this is just a statement of fact. Do you get me? So I'll ask a question as to why they believe what they do, and then I'll show them why the reasoning behind that belief isn't valid.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to also ask you a question. So, do you debate with Jews or not at all?
I just wrote for Hamza.
I'll be honest.
I said, thank you for clarifying Muhammad's intimate moments with the Zut. Your insightful questions really exposed what Muhammad did that night and helped many Muslims see that this really happened. Because if you remember, he was with, I can't remember who he was with. He was with one of these so-called reverts. And they went to Medina to do this thing about explaining the Zut. And Hamza asked some he kept asking him insightful questions. So he really did do a good job there, you know. So anyway, I'm just thanking him for that. Your knowledge of the Zut was admirable. So anyway, all right. I'm not sure he's going to let me on. So you're blocked. Oh, really? You don't see my... He says he doesn't answer questions about Islam. Oh, really? What a wimp. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay. I think you're... Oh, you don't see my comments. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've already been... well, you see, I went a couple times. They kicked me out, so I expect that. All right. Well, I'm glad that you're here, Truth Defender. If you'd like to come up, you can help me because I was at the mosque and they gave me a tract. It's called Misconceptions About Islam. And if you'd like to come up, you can help me address some of these so-called misconceptions that we have about Islam. Let me go ahead and just put the link. If you'd like to come up, I know you're terribly shy, and but I think your expertise is needed right now. So put your shyness aside and come. Let's destroy this. This little kid gave it to me. Okay, he's like 4 years old, and you know it's not really from him. It was from his older brother or older friend who was with him. But his older friend pretended he didn't see me, but he gave it to the little 4-year-old. The 4-year-old came and gave this to me, and then I tried to give him a Bible, and he said, Allah, you know, with all the passion and zeal of. But anyway, I just would like to look at some of these so-called misconceptions about Islam, just to show, and I'm hoping that they're watching. I hope that kid's watching, but the kid's 4 years old. You know, he probably doesn't understand the words in this, but his relatives, somebody gave him this to give to me. So anyway, let's just look at some of these so-called misconceptions about Islam. The clear Islam. You know, but yeah, is there a clear Islam? Probably as clear as the clear Quran. So, oh, did I put the... Yeah, I put the link there, bro, if you'd like to come up. Okay. Let's see. Here's number one misconception. Okay, there's 11 of these so-called misconceptions. Oh, Truth Defender. Hello, how are you?
Oh, sorry, I had myself muted. Shalom.
Okay, shalom. How are you? Long time
better
no
than I
see.
deserve.
True story, man. Amen. Yeah, I went to the mosque tonight, and I'm not sure when the Night of Power is. The Night of Power is usually on the 27th of Ramadan, but I'm not sure what night of Ramadan it is right now. Do you know?
I don't. Let me see.
Okay.
Night of Power 2026 would be March evening 16th, or no, hold on.
Okay.
It is commonly held belief that it occurs on the 27th of Ramadan, which is expected to fall on the evening of 16th of March, 2026.
Okay. So it's about 4 or 5 nights away now, then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. Okay. Well, then I might be able to go if you'd like to come on the 16th. We can go sit out there. These guys are getting kind of. There was one guy. I was standing out there with the cross, and he came and he was so desirous of knowing if I go to church. And I said, yes, of course I go to church. He goes, do Arabs, are Arabs allowed to come to your church? And I said, sure. And he says, where's your church? What's the address of your church here? He wanted the address of my church so bad, you know. And so he even gave me his WhatsApp number. He gave me his WhatsApp number. Said, here's my WhatsApp number. And his WhatsApp number, you guys, is in the United Arab Emirates. You know?
Oh boy.
And
when
so
when Muslims used to ask me for my phone number in Santa Monica, I would give them. I had the Los Angeles FBI phone number in my contacts, and so I would just give them the FBI phone number.
yeah,
So I wonder
that's
how
a
many
good.
of them actually called it and hung up right away, and then they got a call back from the FBI.
Yeah,
But
boy, yeah. Oh, that's a good trick, man. Yeah, he was adamant, man. He wanted my phone, my church address. He was interested in my church address, you know. And I know why. You know, I was trying to say like, how dare you come here by a mosque? But at the end, I said to him, I said, "You're not going to do any problems, are you? Because I know you guys." I said that to him. You know, he thinks, "Oh, this is a stupid Christian who doesn't know nothing," and I can go ahead and,
yeah, well,
But
I went to Hamza's den when you mentioned it. I don't know if they're seeing my no, they did see my comments because they started telling me to go up. But Hamza said he doesn't answer questions on Islam. So I'm saying, so why would I bother? He's not going to answer
yeah,
any questions.
yeah,
And yeah, so he's
that's
just there
because
to attack
God
Christianity,
logic,
basically.
yeah, God logic. He really ripped him up good, man. And then when he did that Zut thing, you see, that's what I was writing comments on, but my comments apparently didn't show. But because when he did that Zut thing with who's that revert guy that it was supposedly some expert from Texas or something, and he was with him. They went to Medina to explain the Zut situation. They were going to solve the Zut crisis in the Islam, and instead he ended up opening it up even further and exposing it even more. Even though he was supposed to help the situation, he
Oh
actually
yeah, I think I saw that. That
was it
wasn't
Jake,
Jake. Was
the
it Jake?
metaphysician? No.
I'm not sure if it was him. It might have been. That's what comes to mind. But yeah, they didn't realize what they were digging into.
Yeah. Yeah, he just, man, it was hilarious what he did, man. It just really strengthened our position tremendously. So, all
Yeah.
right, well, let's look at some of these alleged. Islam is one of the world's largest religions, yet it's also one of the most misunderstood. For various reasons, be they political, economic, bias, media, or fear of the other. Wow, they've been to CNN or to Harvard University. Those are all the liberal victimization words.
Yeah, well, one of
Mistruths.
the reasons for being misunderstood might have something to do with taqiyya, the fact that they keep lying about it.
You're allowed to lie, yes, and encourage, but you got to be fair, truth defender. You're only allowed to lie to three group of people: your wife, your friends, and your enemies. Those are the only groups that you can
Oh,
lie.
well, there you have it. That's
I
covers
don't know.
everybody.
I don't know who else in the world exists, but
Right.
those are the three that you're allowed to lie to. Yeah, I know. Okay. Muslims is to resist stereotypes and examine each situation according to Islamic teachings and authentic sources. Okay. Misconception number one: Muslims do not share good and noble values with non Muslims. The best among you is the one who has the best manners and character, Muhammad said. Some people allege that Islamic values are somehow incompatible with decent Western values. Duh. Such claims could not be further from the truth. Muslims cherish noble and universal values such as being honest and just, except when you need to lie, and then you can lie 3 times to 3 groups of people. Muhammad said it. Keeping one's word, unless Allah gives you permission to disavow, to
Right.
break
Violate
your
the
vows.
contract.
Yeah, like
The
he did
oaths.
with Muhammad. Yeah. And with all the who was it? The group that Muhammad Allah said, okay, you don't got to honor your treaties with them anymore.
Yeah, the narrative there is there was a treaty between 2 tribes, and supposedly Muhammad, wanted to cause more trouble and have an excuse for the warfare because he had said he wouldn't fight during the holy months. And so the one group was accused of violating the treaty. And so that gave Muhammad the green light and said, okay, all bets are off. Now it doesn't matter where you find them. You don't have to honor any oaths. So Muhammad interjected himself into somebody else's problems because he was not part of that contract. That was between 2 other tribes.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So Allah does allow you to lie and to break your vows. So another thing is that Islam teaches you to respect your parents, relatives, neighbors, and the elderly. So
Unless they insult or contradict Islam, whereas Muhammad had no issue with people coming to him and offering to slaughter their own parents if he asked them to.
wow.
So, and even in Sharia law, you can, even if it's your own family members, your own parents, if they apostatize, their blood is lawful. So there's no, how's that honoring your parents?
Okay. We're not allowed. Muslims are not allowed to lie, cheat, swear, or backbite, except to lie, cheat, swear, and backbite.
Exactly.
Yes. Muslims are required to contribute positively to society and to always conduct themselves with the highest morals, yay, and best of actions, mashallah. And yeah, right. But you're allowed to steal from the kuffar. You're allowed to sell liquor to the kuffar. You're allowed to lie to the kuffar.
Tax them.
And take jizya. And
Yep.
so anyway, misconception number 1 is not a misconception. It is a truth. And thank you for showing us all this, giving us a chance to say that this is all baloney. It's not true. Islam does allow all of it. And they're lying to you. If you believe this as a Muslim, whoever's telling you that these things are true is lying to you because you don't. And I'm not saying they're lying to you just because I'm a jerk and I want it to be mean. Your books contradict this. The Quran contradicts this. The Quran, Muhammad contradicts this. So, it's so okay. Let's go on to misconception number 2. And I hope, Truth Defender, you can give us some precious wisdom about this next one. Misconception number 2, Muslims worship a new God called Allah.
That's not true. They worship an old demon deity that was already being worshipped by pagan Arabs. And so they simply repackaged this old deity. So it's a yes and no. Yes, it's a new deity in the sense of reintroduced as the deity of the Jews and the Christians, but it's an old deity in that it's a demon god that was already being worshipped before.
Okay.
That's why we have to be careful when we speak of the moon god. No, Muslims do not deliberately or actively worship the moon god, but Allah does originate in the worship of the moon god. So although there's that association in the etymology, the origin of this deity, it is not a deity that they worship directly as the moon god. And in fact, we can see that with the Quran differentiating, between the moon and Allah in different ways. And the moon being split, the moon being just an object, to swear upon, gives light, such and so forth. So let's be careful that we don't do what Muslims do with Christianity, which is to take superficial similarities and imply a different reality out of it. So yes, the moon god is the origin of Allah, but they've changed him and radically made him a distinct deity, where they put together, it's basically a Frankenstein monster. So they took some of Zoroastrianism, some of Judaism, some of Christianity, some of the paganism, and then they repackaged it to introduce Islam and Allah into the world.
Thank you for that. And let me just read what they say. Muslims worship the same God worshipped by the prophets Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. The word Allah, no, you don't. Okay. The word, the God of Abraham appeared to him, and it says he lifted his eyes and he saw 3 men. So, you can try to, work your way around that or try to deny it, but that's what the Torah says. The Quran says that the Torah was sent by Allah. It says that Allah wrote the Torah with his own hand, and no one can change it. And so that's what the Torah says. And Muslims worship the same God, worship. Blah, 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 blah. The word Allah is simply the Arabic word for Almighty God. No, it's not. It's not. The Arabic Allah is the name of the God of Islam. An Arabic word of rich meaning denoting the one and only God. Allah is also the same word that Arabic-speaking Christians and Jews use to refer to God because of dimitude, because you guys forced the Christians and Jews to do that. And however, Muslims, Jews, and Christians believe in the same God. No, they don't. Our God is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Your God is Khair al-Makirin, al-Mudil, al-Dar, al-Mutakabbir, the boastful one, the harmful one, the deceitful one, and the one who misleads people. Those are his beautiful names.
Yeah, and also his intrinsic attributes, his ontology, what his makeup is. The Bible is clear that God is spirit, and those that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Whereas Allah is solid, at least from the waist down. He also has physical features such as 2 right hands. And Muslims can debate this. They'll debate the meaning of hand or eye or foot, but it doesn't negate the fact that he has those things. So whatever they are, even if they want to take the position that says they're unlike anything in the creation, they're still something. Even if it's beyond the creation's examples, they still attribute them to Allah. Whereas with us, we know that these are anthropomorphisms where we're just saying like an arm, like a foot. But Allah has an arm, has a foot, literally. And then we can show definitely that Muslims will debate that. Is it a literal arm, or is it something? It is an arm, but nothing like an arm in creation. So we have the arm of a human, the arm of a monkey, the arm of a chair, the arm of, we can use these different objects that we call arm. What is ultimately armness, and what is the armness of Allah's arm? We don't know, but he does have one. So he is a physical being. He's not spirit as Yahweh is spirit.
And he also has a shin.
He has a shin. He has a foot by which he compresses hell. So he singes his shin hairs. So yeah, definitely a different deity.
Okay, however, Muslims, Jews, and Christians believe in the same God. The concepts regarding him often differ significantly. For example, Muslims reject the idea of God having partners or being part of a trinity. Yeah,
Hey, brother Hussein, I found that track online. Let me send it to you. Maybe people can follow along with us
oh, okay.
with these questions in the private
Okay.
chat. Let me see.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So we can actually just look at it and
Yeah, this way folks can read along with us. And
okay, yeah, this is great. Yeah, so this is much better to do it this way. Now how do I show this?
I put the link
Oh,
on the private chat. You could probably just click it and it might open a window automatically,
okay. Yeah,
or cut and paste it
okay.
to. Okay,
Okay.
there we go. And then maybe make it a little bigger if you can.
Bigger. Okay. Oops. Okay.
Yeah, cool. There we go.
Okay. All right. Okay, so there's uh let's go to number 3. This misconception number 3, you guys, that Islam permits terrorism. It doesn't just permit it, it commands it. It's not just a permission, it is imperative. Okay. And it's so funny, they got Obama's favorite verse here, which is
Oh boy.
from the Talmud, you know.
Yeah.
It's always so funny that it's the only verse that what's his name? Who is it? The guy that was the Attorney General for Minnesota. What's that guy's name? He's a Muslim.
Oh, that was Ellison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ellison. This is when he was on Bill Maher. Bill Maher interviewed him, and he said to him, he says when he had a Quran in his hand, Bill Maher did, and he said, "This is one hate-filled holy book." That's what Bill Maher said, and then Keith Ellison said, "Oh, you just don't know it. Didn't you know that the Quran says if you killed one person, it's if you killed the whole world, and if you save one life, like you saved the whole world." You know, and if Bill Maher maybe he does know this, but you know that in reality that's a Talmud verse, and it's even in the Quran. It says that it was written to the Jews. It's not written to the Muslims.
Yeah,
You know?
it's to the Ben Yisrael.
Yeah, Beni Israel. Yes.
Ala Beni Israel.
Yes.
Anahu. Yeah.
As the media generally portrays any Muslim who fights as a terrorist, or like those 2 terrorists who tried to cause a massacre in New York a few days ago in front of Mamdani's house, regardless of whether they fight justly or unjustly. Oh, yay. So was it just when they tried to blow up those protesters in front of Mamdani's house? So, I mean, even in that right there, it's got loopholes, you know?
Yeah.
Whether they are oppressing others or being oppressed. In war, the targeting of innocent non-combatants is a despicable act which Islam clearly prohibits. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
No, fight. In fact, the ayah of the sword, the verse of the sword, and it's called the verse of the sword by Muslims themselves, and it clearly says that they should fight and kill the disbelievers wherever they find them, lie in wait for them in every stratagem of war, and unless they repent and pay the jizya and feel themselves subdued, they should fear for their life and property. So this is not peaceful. This is not coexistence. This is not anything but absolute religious warfare upon non-Muslims.
Once the sacred months have passed, kill the polytheists.
Now, what's the Arabic word there for kill?
Okay, no, this one, fa'uqtilu, uqtilu. You know, and I know that they differentiate between this and 929, which is qatilu. Qatilu is like fight to kill. But here, it's as clear as day. This means unalive. I should, because I get
Slaughter.
Yeah, yeah, it could be slaughter too. Yeah, but it literally does mean to unalive. El mushrikeen. Now, this word right here, el mushrikeen, the polytheists, you can say, well, that's for the polytheists, but a lot of Muslims consider Christians mushrikeen because they think we worship three gods. And so there's very clearly, easily, the door easily remains open for that this would refer to Christians too. So, حيثما وجدتهم, wherever you find them, خذوهم واحصروهم, take them, seize them. Ahsur means to squeeze, what is it like when you do a siege around them and close in on them?
Yeah, encompass them and
Yeah. And then if you get tired, the next word, uqadu, sit down for them.
Oh boy.
In every place. If they repent, and start praying Islamic prayer, and start giving money to Muhammad, the zakat, فَخَلُّوا سَبِيلُهُ, then leave him. Because Allah is so merciful. He's so merciful.
Yeah, it's a good chap.
Yeah. So, yep. So, again, Muslims, I know you want to believe the best about your religion. Your problem is, I believe that lots of Muslims are very sincere and they believe that they should be good and are anti-terrorism and all that. But your book is not. The problem is not so much the Muslims. The problem is Islam. This is what Islam teaches. The problem is the book and the man.
Yep.
All right. Misconception number 4. Islam oppresses women. Okay. I'll just say that in America and in Europe, they do so less than they do in Muslim countries. But Islam still oppresses women. So,
Yep.
in Islam, men and women are viewed as equals before God. Okay. Not according to Surah number 2. It says that the man is a degree above the woman, a degree above them. And there's a verse where chapter 434, it says, الرجال قوامون على النساء, which many interpret as men are superior to women. Men are superior to women.
And the women asked Muhammad, "In how so? In what way?"
Are we deficient in intelligence?
And and Muhammad said, "Well, you all are deficient in intelligence. You talk back to your husbands.
And your testimony is worth half of a man's testimony in court.
Yeah. And they are built like a curved rib or a curved bone, and that's why you shouldn't try to straighten them out too harshly, or they'll snap. You'll break them." So.
Yep. And Islam also says women are deficient in intelligence, says that they are to receive half of the inheritance that a man's supposed to get. Their testimony is worth half of a man's testimony. You can beat them.
They require an escort when going out.
Yep. And so Islam definitely oppresses women. It's easy to say this. It's so easy to write a little track and say that this is a misconception, but the reality is I could show you a video. It's very painful. Let me see if I can. There's a video that just came out. It was so painful to watch.
Yeah, while you look for that, Malik Book 54, number 54, 821 says, Malik related to me from Abu Hazim ibn Dinar, from Sal ibn Sa'd as-Sa'idi, that the Messenger of Allah said, if it exists, it is in a horse, a woman, and a house, meaning ill luck. So bad luck comes from a horse, a woman, and a house. I don't know how he came up with that one, but it's kind of weird.
Here, let me see. I actually found the video. It's on Patrick Ben David. Here, let's watch this. Okay, see if Islam, because one that comes up right in a few minutes here. I should just take this one at a time. Maybe I'll go ahead and show the video when we get there. Okay. First of all, everything they say at the beginning of this is not consistent with the Quran or the Hadith. Okay, women are not viewed equally before Allah, and women are treated like possessions and like dogs here on earth, and in Jannah they're treated like dogs and possessions. It's terrible what they do to them in Jannah, and so everything is about the man in Islam. The verse proves the real honor and status is not attained because a person is rich or poor, black or white. Right? We know what Muhammad thought about black people. Okay. Allah, the creator of both genders, has assigned different roles, responsibilities for each. Okay. And we know that this is not true. Islam absolutely 1,000% oppresses women. Okay, misconception number 5. The Quran is just another history or poetry book. And I'll just say my immediate reaction when I read this is it's neither history nor poetry.
Yeah, like grape nuts cereal.
It's none of the above.
Neither grapes nor nuts.
Definitely not a theological book either, but
well, this is a problem here when they claim the poetry of Islam. Remember Muhammad when he was feeling very downcast and confused and suicidal, and one of the things he uttered was, "Woe is me, poet or possessed." He was afraid that he was one of the poets, because at that time the poets were considered to be demoniacs. They would have sometimes the same symptoms that he experienced, which was epilepsy or trance-like stages, and would begin to chant or utter sayings. And Muhammad was afraid that he was one of these possessed poets. So when they say the Quran is poetic, well, now they have to deal with the fact that Muhammad considered poetry or poets to be demoniacs, or something he feared so much that he was willing to unalive himself in order not to be called one of the poets.
He was going to jump off of a mountain,
hurl himself, over a crag.
Yeah. And so just if anybody from who gave me this, if you're watching, I just want to tell you, we don't consider the Quran poetry, and we definitely don't consider it history, unless you're talking about magical history. Why? Because your history is so magical and miraculous, amazing. There's like 3 events in the Bible that the Quran smashes into one verse, but those 3 things that are in that verse happened over 2,600 year period. They had in one verse, you have Moses's Pharaoh, the Tower of Babel, and Haman from from Persia. There's 2,600 years between the Tower of Babel and Haman, but the Quran, and then the Pharaoh somewhere in the middle, like 1,000 years in between both of them. And the Quran miraculously compresses them into one verse, into the same time. And so if you want to talk about history, the Quran also miraculously makes the sister of Moses the mother of Jesus, another 1,500-year miracle. And so
Yeah.
So we don't consider
it's a history of myths and legends.
Yeah, and definitely not historically accurate. So, misconception number 6: the hijab is oppressive. To observe the hijab, Muslim women are required to dress modestly with the bodies, with clothes that do not reveal their figure in front of non-closely related males. However, the hijab is not just about outer appearance, it's about noble speech, modesty, dignified conduct. Although there are many benefits, the key reason women observe the hijab is because it's a command by Allah. And if you're in the Middle East and you don't wear it, you're going to get beaten or you're going to have acid thrown on your face. Okay, it's not oppressive, but just saying, And
yeah, and the reason they wear the hijab is because Muhammad's companion observed. Omar saw his wife going to the potty and told her, even, I have seen your silhouette, basically, and I can tell it's you, because she was a large woman. And then he did it again, and then he went and told Muhammad, hey, tell your wives to veil themselves. I saw your wife while she was at the toilet. And Muhammad at first didn't listen, but then Omar persisted, and what Omar desired became Allah's revelation, that the women should be veiled.
This is one of the several times where Omar was the inspiration for the Quran. There's two others, include the direction of prayer, that they stop praying towards Jerusalem, start praying towards Mecca. And there's one other thing that he inspired Allah, and Allah agreed with him about it. But there's many things that Muhammad was. Muhammad kind of controlled Abu Bakr. He kind of had sway over Abu Bakr, but Umar controlled Muhammad. Umar was very rich, very powerful, and so he knew how to control Muhammad. So it's an interesting dimension. And Umar, he said that the Hajj, the black rock, he said it's useless. He said that the black rock is useless. It doesn't do you good or bad. It's one of the pillars of Islam. And Umar bin Khattab, the third caliph, says second caliph, said it's totally worthless. It doesn't do you any good or bad. So
yeah.
But anyway.
So the veil is not freedom, it's not modesty. It has to do with the issue of the Muslim males' hearts, because they are afraid that the males will not be able to contain themselves if they see an unveiled woman, and therefore, to protect the woman from violation of the men, they force the veil on them. So that speaks not of modesty, it speaks of a lack of self-control and of a perverted heart within the Muslim male community. It's a bad testimony on them. It was never intended for modesty. It was intended as a protection of the women from the sexual advances and molestation of the males.
Yeah, and sometimes they say, that if, and especially in a Muslim country, that if a woman dresses immodestly and she gets raped, well, you know what? She wasn't dressed right, And I don't want to, I hate to say it like this, but it's like she had it coming, because, Muhammad was wanting to protect women from men. And,
he wanted to protect their women, because he didn't have a problem with the slave women running around bare-chested.
Wow. If you can find that hadith, I'd like to see that one.
Yeah, let me see, where do I have that? I'll be looking for it.
Okay, but
yeah,
I just want to show the difference here between, I hate to ever make a comparison between Muhammad and Jesus, but there is a big difference here. With Jesus put the onus on the man. He said, if your eye if you look at a woman with lust, you're guilty of adultery. So if your eye offends you, pluck it out. I mean, the onus is on the man not to lust. But with Muhammad, he put the onus on the woman to cover herself so that he won't lust.
Mhm.
So shows you the difference there. So misconception number 7, all Muslims are Arabs. Only about 20% of Muslims are Arabs. That meaning that 80% of Muslims are non-Arabs, which is un-Quranic, because the Quran says that it only came for the Arabs. And according to chapter 14, verse 4, Allah never sent a messenger except to his people in their language. And so Islam is not for Indonesians, it's not for Turks, it's not for Iranians, it's not for Japanese people, which they don't want it absolutely. It's not for the French, it's not for the British, it's not for the Americans. It's only for Arabs. Okay, according to the Quran, chapter 14, verse 4, but Muslims don't believe the Quran. So anyway, did you want to say anything about that?
Well, yeah, the majority of Muslims are not Arabs for sure, but it is a revelation in Arabia for Arabs in the Arabic language by Allah who only understands Arabic. And so, yeah, it's a very specific religion to a specific people at a specific time with a specific language. It's not a universal religion. And in fact, to this day, they will tell us that unless we're reading the Quran in the Arabic or have it in the Arabic, we don't have the Quran. So I think what Muslims ought to be getting to work on more than anything is to teaching Arabic. Open up schools to teach Arabic so that people can learn Arabic before you even begin to tell them about your religion. Because in reality, anything in other than Arabic is basically meaningless because it doesn't convey the true meanings of the words of Allah. And so we don't understand it. We don't know that we're getting the accurate understanding. So why not teach us Arabic first? But see, that would be a double-edged sword for them because the Arabic only clarifies the evils we see in it and the errors and inconsistencies more so in the Arabic. And I think they understand that. So they rather keep people ignorant and subjugated under ignorance than to teach them the truth.
And also but they are doing, in a lot of mosques, they are doing Arabic classes, to help bridge this gap. But it's very, I think it's very dangerous because they're not just teaching them Arabic, they're teaching them Islam. So misconception number 8, jihad is terrorism. So.
Yes, it is.
That's a misconception, my friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, what's the explanation from our booklet here?
The essence of jihad is to struggle, yes, we know, and sacrifice, yes, for one's religion, yes, people of another religion, in a manner which is pleasing to Allah. Yes, exactly. That's the whole problem. Linguistically, it means to struggle. Thank you, and can refer to one striving to do good deeds. I don't think so. Give charity or join in an Islamic military action. Exactly. I wonder if what those two guys did in New York a couple days ago would be considered jihad. Yeah. The most commonly known form is the military jihad, which is permitted in order to preserve the well-being of society, to prevent oppression from spreading, and promote justice, or to just blow people up. This can be either defensive or offensive, depending on the circumstance. Yes. So let me just show you guys some wisdom and insight from Muhammad about this topic. Because Muhammad had some insights about what jihad is. I came to the Prophet, saw, and said, "O Messenger of Allah, which jihad is best?" He said, "That of a man whose blood is shed and whose horse is wounded." So that, so that's not just a workout regimen. That's not a special diet. No, That's killing and being killed. To kill and be killed. So
Yeah, I did find that reference to the veiling of the slave women. I put it in the chat and in the private chat.
okay. Anas reported, Omar saw one of our maidservants wearing a veil. He flogged her. Omar said, do not resemble free women. He's in hell, I'm sure. Sorry, I don't let God judge him, but man, maidservant wearing wow. Yeah, but yeah.
And remember, the arwa, I believe, is the word in
Arwa.
Arabic, which is what's considered the part that's supposed to be veiled, which is the private part of the woman. Their whole body is considered a private part in this concept. Think about that. They basically view women as walking private parts.
Ya Rasi. Oh, my head. Thank you. Misconception number 9. Muslims worship Muhammad or the moon god.
Wait,
Okay.
read that again. Or the moon
Oh,
god?
oh, yeah. Muslims worship Muhammad or the moon god.
Okay, that first part. Well, let's see how they explain that away.
Yet another misconception is that Muslims worship the Prophet Muhammad. Excuse me, this is entirely untrue and easily refuted by the actual sayings of the Prophet. Do not ever overpraise me as the Christians overpraise Jesus, the Son of Mary. I am his slave, so refer to me as Allah's, I wish they wouldn't say God, but Allah's
Right.
slave and messenger. But
Yeah.
they do pray to him. You know, they say, peace be upon you, O messenger, in their prayers. So that's kind of a form of worship. And they elevate him higher than Allah, you know, in some cases. And they says worship, obey Allah and his messenger in the Quran. About 15 times it says that. So,
Yep. Well, in fact, I hope Hatun Tosh isn't watching because I owe her a stream on this subject on Muhammad's authority and how basically they do, in fact, worship Muhammad. And I have all the references. I'm trying to find them here of how Muslims view Muhammad. And yes, not by their words, the way we openly and admittedly worship Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, as our God and our Maker, but in their actions, their deeds, and in some of their sayings, they do in fact offer that to Muhammad, which ought to be offered only to God. So they do in fact worship Muhammad. And in fact, there are narrations where Muslims were told after Muhammad's death, stop worshiping Muhammad. He's dead, but Allah is alive. Well, what do you mean stop worshiping him? That means they were worshiping him, at least some of them. So that's an admission there.
where was that from?
I'm gonna find it here because I do have the slides. I'm just trying to locate them. Let's see. Where did I put those? It's under Muhammad's authority, so I gotta do a quick search of that
Okay,
presentation.
all right. I'll take your time with that, but I do think they do worship Muhammad. You know, there's if you insult Allah, you get certain lashes and certain, but if you insult Muhammad, you get killed.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, exactly.
In that way, Muhammad is higher than Allah, and they're supposed to equally, you know, Allah and Muhammad supposedly have equal knowledge. Like one time, Muhammad asked the servant who was sitting behind him on a donkey,
Right.
he said to him, do you know where the sun sets? Or do you know where the moon is? No. And the guy said, Allah and his messenger know best. So kind of putting Muhammad's knowledge at the same level as Allah, you know?
Yeah.
So
Okay, I did find it. So let's see here, because I have the one I was working on is the one I'm trying to find. Let's see here, because I have like 10 different files on it. Let me open up this one. Muhammad's authority. Let's see. It's between, oh boy. Well, well, here's one that came up right away. Whoever guarantees me, that is Muhammad, what is between his legs and what is between his jaws, I guarantee him paradise. Muhammad is guaranteeing his followers paradise. Not Allah, Muhammad is.
can you show us that hadith? I think it's very important for people to see that.
Yeah, that would be Bukhari. It's a little long. We might have to cut it in order to paste it, but it's Bukhari, Volume 8, Book 82, number 799. And let me see if I can, I'll put it in the private chat and then.
Book 8?
Because it's kind of long. Yeah, Volume 8, book number 82, or book 82, number 799.
Okay, yeah. If you could put that in, that'd be great. It's very important to see that Muhammad is capable of giving you paradise.
Well, it's not, it's if you give him something in exchange.
Yeah, I mean, but he has the power. If you give him that thing,
right,
he's able to give you paradise, and so that's a very powerful thing. And of course, it's not our place to question what he wants in return. That's not our place. We're asking too many questions. But does say here, whoever guarantees, it's not, and it doesn't say nothing about chastity in the Arabic, okay? Of what is between his legs, his private parts. Whoever gives Muhammad his private parts is what that hadith says. And what is between his jaws, I will guarantee him paradise. Yay. What a pickup line. That's
oh my goodness. Yeah.
My goodness.
So let's see here. Trying to find the ones on authority. Intercession, Muhammad can intercede for you.
Yeah.
And there is contradiction because Muhammad's duty, according to the Quran in 67:26, it says, as to the knowledge of the time, it is with Allah alone. I, Muhammad speaking, only I am sent only to warn plainly in public. So he implies that was his only purpose, but then he takes on a higher role in different ways. For instance, in chapter 47:33 of the Quran, it says, all you who believe, obey Allah and obey the messenger and make not vain your deeds. So you must obey both Allah and the messenger.
And there is places where it says that he intercedes, he will be interceding even when he was dead. You want forgiveness, you go to Muhammad. And
yeah,
Allah
that would
will
be Bukhari, volume 4, book 55, number 556, where Muhammad will be the chief of the interceders.
Now
he will be chief and he intercedes.
You're using a different numbering there.
Yeah, because I use, I think I explained
the Arabic.
Before. I use the older numeric system because I have the older volume, the 9-volume set, and that's the one I read. I know a lot of people have moved to the newer numeric system.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to switch back, but I kind of don't because I don't like the newer versions. Sometimes they condense them or they might change a little bit of the wording. The other ones were a little more accurate, although not completely. But yeah, it makes it difficult for other people to find them, I guess. Maybe I'll start including both references.
Well, no, I agree with you, though. It's important to keep that old one, too, because it is more, sometimes the translations are so bad. So,
yeah.
Okay. Misconception 10, Islam permits forced marriages. Arranged marriages are cultural practices which are predominant in certain countries throughout the world. although not restricted to Muslims, forced marriages have become incorrectly associated with Islam. In Islam, both males and females have the right to choose or reject a potential spouse, and a marriage is considered null and void if a woman's genuine approval is not granted prior to the marriage. Okay, this is where I want to show you the video. And you guys, this is so painful to watch. Okay, put this down. Okay. This is a Christian girl in Pakistan. Forced to convert, forced to marry a man she didn't want to. And this apparently in Pakistan, they haven't read this this pamphlet. So here.
Feminist and watch this.
This is Pakistan, yeah?
It is. This is Pakistan, yes.
So that's when they took her.
That's when they took her and they recorded it.
Okay, they took this little girl. The court says she's Christian. She has to accept Islam and she has to get married to this guy.
At least her family fought it. Sometimes the family is in on this.
And by the way, you'll see clips
Especially
like
as a
this in
Christian.
Iran. You'll see clips like this.
You know, they forced that girl. The girl was screaming. She doesn't want to marry this guy, and they made her. So, yes, Islam does allow forced marriages. I know what you want the Americans to think about the beauty of Islam, but this is the reality of Islam. And especially in the third world countries and stuff. Okay, and let's go back to our misconceptions. Did you want to say anything about that?
No, it's a sad thing. It's a sad reality that they are forced. One, there's the cultural, tribal thing about arranged marriages. Many cultures have had that, even in the West. But having an arranged marriage versus enslavement and taking children before, they've been given a chance to grow up and mature and make a decision for themselves is a whole different thing. Some families and some cultures will arrange a marriage between their son and daughter, but they don't just marry them off and engage them in sexual activity with adults. It's something that's they're just agreed upon for different terms, but it's not the same thing as what Muhammad ended up doing. In fact, when Muslims try to speak about how Islam brought so many good things for women, I'm thinking, like what? And then they mentioned that he stopped the burying of young girls or of newborn girls by the Arab tribesmen because they wanted the males more than the women, than the girls. So they would bury the little girls alive. And it says that they say that they claim that Muhammad stopped that. But then what was the fate of the women in Islam? I think many of them would have rather have been buried alive than to live the life of a Muslima in such conditions as being sexual objects, being beaten, being oppressed, being kept in ignorance, being veiled, having to endure polygamy, you name it, all these different evils that have come upon women because of Islam, because of Muhammad. Muhammad didn't do them any favors. So it's really sad.
When I was in first grade in the Middle East when I was 9 years old, and I remember the first thing they taught us about Muhammad is that he stopped the burying of little girls. I mean, that's the only good deed that they could come up with from Muhammad, besides feeding a cat or giving a donkey water, and then worrying about the Jew who was throwing trash in front of his house. And those are the only good deeds that I could think of for this guy. So, all right. Well, let's see here. We're almost at the end here, you guys. Almost done. Number 10, or that was number 10. And by the way, there's also a verse in the Hadith Let me see. Let me see. I can show it to you. Okay, let me see if I could show you this. I'll try to show it. I don't know if I can. Oops. Okay, here. Okay. And this is about women and little girls. Oops. It says here, a woman who has been previously married, Tayyib, has more right to her person and her guardian, and a virgin's father must ask her consent from her consent being her silence. At times, he said, her silence is her consent. So her, and her consent is her silence. So if she doesn't say nothing, then that's consent. And so little girls who don't know what's going on, I've read books with women who've been married off as little girls, and they like go to, they have a day. There's a day that they hear about where everybody is celebrating them. Everybody's singing around them and throwing money at them and giving them candy and singing and clapping. And these little girls are just like, yeah, they're having so much fun because everybody's celebrating them and they're dancing and so happy. And they don't have a clue what's going to happen to them. But then the drive to the hotel or the house of the husband, and then they get raped.
Yeah.
And there was this one princess or this lady that wrote, there's this princess that wrote a book and said this happened to her aunt. And she says her aunt divides her life into two parts. Before that ride in the car and after the ride in the car.
Wow.
And she didn't have a clue what was going to be done to her. And just like Aisha did not know what her mother was doing to her when she gave her to Muhammad. She specifically says, I did not know what she was going to do to me. And so very terrifying.
So I provided the quote and the link to it in the private chat to Muhammad being worshipped. And again, folks, we when we mention certain things, I would say 99.9% of the time we are quoting accurately, even if we can't right away get the reference. It just takes a little bit of digging. So Muslims will, so it's good to try to have the references at hand, but we're doing this on the fly. So, but you can see that within a few minutes, we can find the sources. They are there, they're available. We're not pulling them out of thin air. We're not fabricating anything. These are in their works. There would be Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 2, book 23, number 333, where Abu Bakr said, but I'll have Brother Hussein read it because if you can find that, if you get that link from the private chat, it'll.
Yes. Okay. I can go ahead and.
Yeah. And this way everybody can see it. And we can leave them with, as the Bible says, without excuse.
Okay, here.
And then I believe it's the second paragraph.
Yeah, right here.
The middle, right towards the middle where it says Abu Bakr said.
Oops.
Oh, I think you need to go back. Yeah, go to the middle of the second paragraph. Abu Bakr said, right there. Okay. You're almost there.
Okay.
Nope. Go down more.
Down further.
Halfway, right there. It says Abu Bakr said.
Okay. Then Abu Bakr recited the Tashahhud. None has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and Muhammad is his apostle. And the people attended to Abu Bakr and left Omar. Abu Bakr said, Amma Badu, whoever among you worshipped Muhammad, then Muhammad is dead. But whoever worshipped Allah, Allah's alive and will never die.
So there you have a testimony. Whoever worshipped, there were some that were worshiping Muhammad.
And he was letting them.
Apparently, because this is something that he's having to stop now. So apparently Omar realizes now that Muhammad's gone, I can probably tell these people he was nothing more than a mortal.
Oh, thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right, this is the last chapter of Misconceptions about Islam. Okay, number 11. Islam forces people to become Muslim. And then they use a abrogated verse. The abrogated verse is 2:256 that says, let there be no compulsion in religion. Truth has been made clear from error. Although it is the duty of Muslims to convey and share the beautiful message of Islam to others, no one can be compelled to accept Islam. To accept Islam, a person must sincerely and voluntarily, by definition, Indonesia has the largest Muslim population, yet no battles were fought. It's the only country where there are only 14 million Arabic Coptic Christians that have been living in the heart of Arabia for generations. Yeah, they were 100% Arab Coptic Christians, but you guys came and forcefully converted them by telling them you either convert or you pay the jizya or you die, and so
chapter 9 verse 3 of the Quran says, and a declaration from Allah and his messenger to mankind on the greatest day, that Allah is free from all obligations to the mushrikun, and so is his messenger. So if you repent, it is better for you, but if you turn away, then know that you cannot escape Allah, and give tidings of a painful torment to those who disbelieve.
Where was that? What was the verse?
Chapter 9, verse 3. Now, I read it a little choppy because I was trying to skip the parentheses because they try to kind of give a little context that's not.
Okay, I want to change the translation. I don't like the Mustafa Khattab version. I think it's dishonest. I prefer, but it keeps going back. I like Hilal Khan and Pickfall. Okay. Okay, it says, a proclamation from Allah and his messenger to all men, the greater pilgrimage, that Allah is free from all obligation to the idolater, so his messenger. If you repent, it will be better for you. But if you are averse, then no, you cannot escape Allah. Give tidings to Muhammad of a painful doom to those who disbelieve. Yeah. But here it doesn't seem to be saying that you're forcing them to become Muslims, though, is it?
Well, what's your option?
Well, you're going to go to hell, but
and remember, the context is that all the obligations between Muhammad, Allah, and the mushrikun they're not obligated anymore to keep any treaties. So the treaties about peace or neutrality or a ceasefire, those are all gone. They're out the door. So now the Muslims have the right to do offensive jihad. So now they can go in and give you those warnings. And in the context of all the other verses of the Quran, they have the right to fight you. Remember, this is chapter 9 still.
Yes.
So this is in the context of those treaties that can be broken. Even in chapter 476, you have those who believe fight in the cause of Allah, and those who reject faith fight in the cause of evil. So fight against the friends of Satan. Feeble indeed is the cunning of Satan. So here you have a direct command for them to fight those who are the friends of Satan, which would be the disbelievers. Chapter 4, verse 76 of the Quran.
Oh, 76, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, those who believe fight in the cause of Allah. Those who disbelieve fight in the cause of Taghut, Satan. So fight against those friends of Satan. Ever feeble indeed is the plot of Satan. Muhammad was so Satan aware. So much of his attention was for Satan. So,
And the excuse that Muslims will give that this is during times of warfare, some of the verses are, but you got to remember, Allah did away with all of that context. So although some of the verses may have the context of warfare, wartime, offensive and defensive, that's no longer valid. It's all bets are off. Now the Muslims are simply to give the warnings to the Jews, the Christians, the Sabaeans, and the polytheists, and give the options of going under dimitude for the Jews and the Christians. And that's also temporary, by the way. But the rest have the option of converting or being fought until they're slaughtered. So this is where we're at now. There is no such thing as a simply defensive jihad. It's offensive, but because they have different strategies. For instance, I believe it was Sheikh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah who said that there's the jihad of the pen, the jihad of the mouth, and the jihad of the sword. And he
that was also from Imam Joe Biden also.
So they can use the deception, the propaganda, all of that temporarily until they have the ability to now implement the jihad of the sword. So this is why you have to understand their history, their contexts, and not let them use deception for propagating stuff like this pamphlet.
Wow. Well, shoot. That was this little kid came up to me and I tried to give him a Bible. He wouldn't take the Bible, but he was a little zealot, 4 years old. And so so that was thank you for coming and joining us and helping us
all right.
clarify.
Well, keep me updated on that hour, the night of power, and we'll go put that to the test with these Muslims. And
yes, if you'd like.
Go.
Yeah, if you want to, because I'm pretty sure I'll be able to go to that. That would be, let me see, 12 today, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, I think we might be able to do it. So I'll let you know.
Okay, if I'm able to, I'll join you, brother.
All right, great.
Okay.
And thank you so much for coming on and helping us with this. And thank you to everybody who is here. God bless you.
Good night, folks. God bless.
Have a blessed night, brother. And for all of you, if you haven't done it, please do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. We love you, but much more importantly, he loves you. So have a wonderful night and a blessed tomorrow in Jesus. God bless you.